What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. We have a bit of a fun one today, but before we get to the fun stuff, there's a couple things that I want to get done on the 328 Ti. If you guys saw the last video where we took the 328 Ti to the drift event, I was kind of worried going into the event because I was having some weird gearing issues, I thought. Driving on the freeway and just driving around town, it just kind of felt like the gears were way shorter than they needed to be. But turns out it was just the gauge cluster showing me the wrong RPM. So first thing we're gonna do today, I'm gonna go ahead and swap in this gauge cluster that actually came with the M52, came out of the same 328i. So we're gonna try popping this into the 328 Ti, and I'm hoping that'll kind of fix the RPM issues that I'm having. I would take the wheel off, just to give myself like more room and just to make it so you guys could see better, but I totally destroyed like all the heads on the steering wheel for the bolts, and I don't really feel like dealing with those right now. Thankfully, these clusters look like they're super easy to come out. It's just 2 Torx bits on top. And then with those 2 screws out, I believe we should be able to just pop this out somehow. I'll be back. I'm gonna grab a flathead. Okay, let's see if maybe... How the fuck am I supposed to do this? Maybe I need to take this entire front panel off? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do any research before going into this. I was hoping I would just be able to like take out the 2 screws and just like slide this out and slide the new one in and it'd be chilling. But obviously that's not the case. It's moving around. Let's see if we can just kind of pry around a little bit. Oh, that's something. Come on. Oh, hey. You just gotta move with your gut. And when your gut says stop prying, stop prying. Oh, hey. Oh, so yeah, apparently that is supposed to be screwed in. That is definitely supposed to be screwed in, but it looks like it's just not. Can I just like, oh, okay. Now I got the cluster forward a bit. I can kind of pop that back in, I think. Oop. Probably don't want to lose that. Okay. All right, so it looks like I might have to get off this top trim piece for the column. Oh, if I can even get it. Oh no. Nice. Okay. I'm hoping this should just come off. Come off. It just comes off. Please just come off. That doesn't seem to be working. Ugh. Alright, we're going back to this. It just feels like things are getting tugged on and I don't like it. Oh. Oh, hey, look at that. All right, now it looks like from here we can actually get to the plugs. Beautiful. Oh, there we go. Boom. 1 plug off, 2 plug off. Now it looks like there's another little tiny 3rd plug right there. Boom. Beautiful. So now we can just go ahead and pull this out. I tested this earlier with the other cluster and it should just come out one of these ways. These, like that. Like that, like that. Boom. And cluster is out. Usually you'd want to be a lot more careful putting this in just so you don't scratch up the plexiglass on the front of the gauge cluster. But I mean, this is already pretty scuffed up, so I'm not too worried about it. Maybe one day we'll go through and we'll just polish it up and make it all look nice. But as of right now, I couldn't give too much of a care. Boom. Last connector in. Stuff that back on up in there. Fits like a glove. Beautiful. And just like that, new cluster's in. Now I can go ahead, turn the key on. Everything turns on how it's supposed to. Gas is reading the same as it was before. Temp is reading about how it should be. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Oh yeah. So I know for sure that this gauge is actually correct now because before it was idling around like 1100 RPM, but now it's down where it should be. And if we... She's looking good. And actually another added benefit of this new cluster is I can actually see the mileage now. Granted, this isn't correct, but it's actually pretty close because I believe the engine when I got it had 147,000 miles on it. So that's actually pretty close. But yeah, before on the cluster that was in the Ti before, this was all super dim and you couldn't see anything. Unfortunately, it looks like the backlighting doesn't work, but honestly, that's not a huge issue. I'm just happy I have a cluster that's showing me the right information now. So, success. So ever since finishing this engine swap, I've noticed that the electric fan hasn't turned on a single time. Even at the drift event, it just never kicked on. Well, I have this E-fan at the moment hooked up to the stock wiring for the auxiliary fan for the AC condenser. I ran that wiring for a long time on my green car that I had before this one, and it worked out perfectly fine, but for some reason on this car, it's just not wanting to kick on. So instead of trying to figure that out, I just bit the bullet and I picked up a relay setup for the electric fan. So for those of you who aren't familiar with relays, it's essentially just an electronically controlled switch that sits within this little box. So the way this is going to be wired up, just to put it simply, I'm probably not going to go too in-depth with this install. We're going to have this gray wire running over to ignition power. We're going to have this black wire be the ground for that circuit. So whenever I go to turn the ignition on, it'll send power through this. It'll power up the coil that sits in here, closing a switch, which will allow power to run from one of these red wires, which will be connected to battery power, over to the other one that's going to be powering the E-fan. This kit from Painless Performance is super nice though. Obviously it came with the relay holder, the relay, a metric shit ton of wiring coming off of the relay holder. Then it also came with all the circle connectors, butt connectors, came with this breaker, and all the mounting hardware I need. So everything I needed to be able to finish this job just came in the kit, which is awesome. All right, so the first order of business is gonna be mounting the actual relay. I think I found a good spot over here along the side of the engine bay. It's over, the power block is just off screen right over here. Now you can get a better idea of the positioning I have here. The relay is gonna be nice and close to the power block, so we don't have to run too much wire up over there. And then this gray wire is just gonna be running up to a wire up underneath this diagnostic port so that we can pull ignition power. So I've already gone ahead and I figured out which pin on here is for ignition power. It's gonna be pin 16 on this, and that was a green wire with a white tracer. As you can see, I already have this splice connector in here. These splice connectors are actually really nice. So you essentially just get the wire that you're trying to pull power off of, slide it into this side of the connector right there, and then whatever wire you wanna splice into that, you simply will just feed it up through this little bottom port, and then you crunch this together, and then this metal plate right here will get crushed into the wires, thus giving power to the extra wire that you just put in. Alrighty, so I just went ahead and crimped it, and as you can see, this wire is successfully spliced. Alrighty, so I got the diagnostic port back in place, even was able to get the boot back on the bottom, and I just have the wire from the relay coming up out the top of the boot, and it actually came out surprisingly clean. So now we just need to ground this side of the relay. So thankfully, I noticed my placement was actually quite perfect because there's actually a screw over here right in the strut tower. So I'm thinking if I just clock this a little bit to make it so the wire can reach, I can just have the wire ground straight to the strut tower right there. Alrighty, so I got this ground connected, and then I went ahead and got the battery side of the fan power all wired up. So we have one of the red wires coming from the relay, goes over to this little breaker right here, and then off the breaker on the other side, we go down, and we have a power wire coming from this battery post right over here. So now that we have all that out of the way, it's time to actually get power to the fan. I didn't want to mess around with the wiring from the fan too much. I have the wiring from the fan coming over to the driver's side, and it comes up to the plug, which connected up to all the AC stuff. So my plan right now, since I don't want to have the fan hardwired into the car, I'm going to retain this plug, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off the power wires that were originally for the AC condenser fan, and then just to make things extra simple, I'm just gonna keep this ground that's already here because I know that this is a good ground. Thankfully, there was plenty of wire to get the power over from the relay itself, up along the side of the car, up along the front core support, and I have it popping out right here. Alrighty, so I used a butt connector, got the power wire hooked up to the connector, kept the ground wire all connected, and then I just went ahead and I wrapped up the power wires that were for the old AC condenser fan. Just wrap those up. It's not pretty, definitely not the best remedy for that, but that's what we're gonna have to deal with for now. But now we can plug this up and actually see if this electric fan will turn on when I turn the ignition on. Alrighty, so I reconnected the fan. I have the ground for the battery all hooked up, so now once I go to turn the ignition on, it should fire up the fan. That's not good. Fan still isn't turning on. Oh, duh. I didn't put the relay in. Boom, okay. Now, it should turn on. Hey! Yes, sir. She's pushing some air. All right, bet. Whew. I was scared there for a second. All right, it's been about a week since I filmed that last portion of the video. I went on vacation with the family for Memorial Day weekend. It was a great time. But I swear to God, over the last week, I don't know what it is, but it jumped straight from spring to summer here in Washington. It's like 73 degrees, and I know that's not like super hot, but for us over here, that's hot. I've literally just been out here just like taking wheels off my car, and I'm dying. It's absolutely terrible. But now that we have the E-fan working and we have a cluster that's working in the 328 Ti, we can get on to the fun stuff. I've been sitting on the set of Style 68s for a while now. I've been pretty hesitant to run 17s on the Ti because personally I think like a Meteor setup with like a 16 or 15 on the Ti look really good. But I was convinced, and I mean, I've just had these wheels sitting around, and I figure they can kind of just be like my baller wheel, even though they're not baller by any means, but they're probably the nicest wheels that I have. But I've wanted some like flashy wheels for a while, and like these are kind of flashy, but after what I do today, they're gonna be properly flashy. All right, so after a lot of sanding and a lot of wiping down with ISO, the wheels are finally prepped and ready for paint. I want to do kind of like a splatter effect, and that's why we have the Dawn dish soap. So my plan is I'm gonna do blue on the bottom. The blue isn't an exact match to the blue on the Ti, but I think it'll be close enough. So we're gonna do blue on the bottom, and then once that dries, I'm gonna drizzle a bunch of Dawn dish soap over the top, and then I'm gonna go over that with white. So it's gonna be like a white on top with like a blue splatter underneath. I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out. I just think it's gonna look unique, gonna look cool, and I'm excited. Let's get to painting. It is getting a little breezy, and there's a bunch of cotton from the cottonwood trees around here blowing around. I'm hoping it won't give us too much trouble, but regardless, I'm not gonna be mad if it gets messed up. Since this is a splatter paint job, I'm kind of treating it like tie-dye. If anything gets a little messed up, you know, it's just a little happy accident, you know? Alrighty, just finished up the third coat, and I gotta say, this Rust-Oleum paint spray is super, super good. So now we're gonna give this about 20 minutes to dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and start putting some Dawn dish soap on these. So I'm actually having a little bit of a predicament right now. Part of me wants to wait till they're dry to the touch so that the Dawn dish soap doesn't mess up the paint, but at the same time, I don't want it to be dry to the touch so that the white can adhere to the blue well. It's been about 15 minutes. I think I might send it. Fuck it, yeah, we'll send it. I guess there's no really way to do this specifically, so I guess just... Oh. Just going crazy with it. This is an art project. I just want to make sure it's kind of like even across all the wheels, you know? Like same amount of splatter.
Too much.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, let's send it.
Oh. Whoa.
We decided to throw up the tent real quick. It looks like there might be some scary clouds rolling in. And I want all the imperfections to come from me, not from the sky. All right, I just finished the last coat of the white, and sure enough, it's raining. So now I'm gonna let these things dry for about like 30 to 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And then we're gonna spray off the Dawn dish soap. Bruh! It keeps getting worse! Bruh! Oh, it's getting dark now. Oh, I hope these wheels don't get wet. I don't know what to do. I mean, like, they're staying dry for the most part, but you can see, like, they're starting to get driplets on them. Ah! It is raining so much now! Bruh. I'm trying to get them all huddled up. Oh, no. I lowered the tent frame to try and make it so the water doesn't splash in. This is a whole ass disaster! Look at this! Like, what? I really should have moved the wheels inside when I had the chance. I don't know why I left them out here. I made a mad dash for the garage. My poor wheels. Oh no. It's kind of stopping. If there comes a time where it just stops raining, I'm gonna go grab those wheels and I'm bringing those in the garage. I'm kind of soaked. I'm in a tank top. Washington sucks. Okay, try to. I'm gonna go get the wheels. Fuck! I'm so winded. Oh, there's paint on the bottom now. Bruh. Come on. There's something. Hey, all the wheels are inside. Fuck. I'm so out of shape. So it definitely looks like the wheels got wet. They got some crap like splattered on them. The paint was still a little tacky, but not wet. So I'm hoping when I go to wash off the Dawn dish soap, it should take all the rest of the crap with it. The finish still looks decent, so I'm not too worried. But goddamn, what a crazy turn of events. So I'm just vibing outside now, just hanging out. Look how pretty this is. There's blue skies. Washington's crazy. All right, so I've let the wheels dry for about 2.5, almost 3 hours. So I think it's time to wash off this Dawn dish soap. It's kind of working. I wonder... So yeah, obviously, this didn't go exactly as planned. I'm gonna keep working at this to try and get all of the Dawn dish soap paint off. I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. This is a whole ass disaster. I don't know if I just waited too long to take off the Dawn dish soap or what, but it's being an absolute pain to get off the paint that was on the Dawn dish soap. I have this one wheel about like 85, 90% of the way done, so you can kind of get the idea of what I was trying to do. I had a bit of an oopsie up here, but we're just not even getting, that's just a happy accident. Like I said, it's fine. But I think overall, it turned out very well. Obviously, the other 3 wheels aren't done yet, but it kind of worked. But here's the plan right now. It's obvious to me that the Dawn dish soap did its job and all of this paint didn't adhere to the blue underneath. So my plan is, since it's getting dark, I'm running out of daylight, I'm just gonna call it for right now, slap these back on the car, and then tomorrow I'm just gonna take an actual pressure washer and just try and get the rest of that off. And hopefully it'll work. So I think that's gonna do it for me for now. But I'm gonna get some footage tomorrow, kind of showing off the wheels on the car after they've been fully finished. So stick around for that kind of like reveal video, if you wanna call it that. That's it for me. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope y'all have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.
As you paint, you'll see all kind of things happening when you canvas, and very soon you learn to use all these beautiful little things that happen. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.